Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Wedding Sushi, where we take fresh ideas, tips, and tricks on planning and roll them up into bite-sized episodes. Today in the studio, I have Brian Klimaski from JED Transportation.
Hi, Dori.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being on.
My pleasure.
So, Brian is one of my favorite frienders, and he has an amazing story. His career path started in New Jersey, then to Vegas, to St. Louis. So let's hear that story of how you got here so that we can meet the man behind JED.
Oof. We only have 10 minutes to do this.
I know, right?
No, I'll wrap this up real quick.
Okay.
Born and raised in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and a partial baseball scholarship brought me to UNLV in Las Vegas, and I had to work while I was playing baseball,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a server at the Hard Rock Cafe, which eventually turned into a manager for the venues at the Hard Rock Hotel when that opened in '98. From there, they needed somebody, I was a restaurant manager. They needed someone to help with the nightclub, do the closing operations. And single guy, I was like, oh, this is going to be awful.
Yeah,
No,
brutal.
It wasn't. It was a lot of fun, actually. But little did I know that it was going to spawn a 16-year nightclub industry career,
Mm-hmm.
which ultimately ends me living in St. Charles, Missouri. So,
Which is hilarious. I love this story.
So from the Hard Rock, I got into a nightclub management company, and they were operating all the venues in, let me see here, the MGM, the Mandalay Bay, the Mirage, and the Bellagio. So all the nightclubs and the pool parties. It was fun.
So fun.
It was like being on a rock tour for 10 years. You never knew who was coming through the door.
Mm-hmm.
Built all these great relationships, artists, musicians, celebrities, athletes, everyone you can think of. Like, oh my goodness. I always knew who was coming, being that I was managing VIP services. So
Wow.
I always had that helmet, that football, the guitar. My collection is unbelievable from this. And it's so much fun. And a lot of these folks are still traveling and touring. When they pass through the Midwest, I take my family, kids, friends, and we go down and backstage, tour buses. And we have so much fun based on that period I had in Vegas.
I know. I got to go to one of, Gilby Clark.
Guns N'
From
Roses.
Guns N' Roses. I got to go to the concert and meet those guys. I love the picture of CJ and Slash.
Absolutely.
That was amazing.
When CJ was just around 2 years old, Slash was at the pageant with his solo band, and I was still close with him and his family. And backstage, and he's zero hesitation. He's holding CJ, teaching him how to do the devil horns, and I'm sitting there making sure I got a good picture. I'm like, this is one of the best pictures I'm going to take my entire life.
Mm-hmm. It's so cute.
It's so much. I love it. And then you mentioned Gilby and them. What you don't know is after that show, they all came back to our house and did a jam session on the kids' instruments.
Oh my God.
It's unbelievable.
I'll have to see. I saw some of the pictures.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So back to that time in Vegas, the one position that stands out the most, though, was managing the VIP services for Ice Nightclub. It was a freestanding nightclub in between the Hard Rock and the Strip. Hard Rock's now the Virgin Hotel.
Gotcha.
But the building's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So Ice was it was the Studio 54 of Vegas in the early 2000s. It was so much fun. No casino regulations, no restrictions, open and close when you want. It was unbelievable and dangerous at the same time.
I believe it. God, getting in so much trouble.
But we ended up with having a reality show that was on Spike TV. It was called The Club.
Okay.
And that reality show, ironically, was the favorite show of Craig Nielsen, the Ameristar CEO. And he said he transplanted our VIP services team from Vegas to St. Charles, Missouri to open home nightclub. That's how I got here.
That's amazing. And brilliant idea. Like, you fall in love with the team from the show and just bring them here.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that nightclub ran its course. It was a couple of years. And it was a natural fit for me and my background to move into the casino as an executive host. And then eventually there's some sales positions that started opening up in the property. And I was one of the strongest internal candidates for this. Mm-hmm. And God bless Kim and Ashley. They had to purge and cleanse that Vegas hustle out of me. But they taught me.
Still there.
It's no doubt. They taught me how to just correspond with the corporate groups locally. And I started building those new relationships and with the CEOs and the travel managers and selling meeting space and hotel rooms to business travelers. And the one common denominator for all of those folks was they had transportation. And so we came up, I got with the owners of JED, and we came up with an idea, and we built this position. And we're seeing some great return from those relationships that I had built in some of those clients. Some great new business.
And talking about relationships, there's one key relationship that is why you stayed here in Missouri.
Yes, like how did I skip right over
Yeah.
that? Our 10-year anniversary is next week.
I know. Happy
Awful.
anniversary, Becky.
Yes. So the 6 months in the nightclub, and then I agreed to stay another 6 months because I was dating a nice Midwest girl.
They're the best.
And then at that 1 year point, everybody went back to Vegas, except for myself. I stayed to work directly for Ameristar and agreed to a year. And in that year number 2, Becky's expecting. We're engaged. Then Becky's expecting, and then mortgage. And it's been 13 years.
And still fun. So much fun. Your family's amazing.
We have a blast. Yes, absolutely.
Well, I love that.
Never a dull moment in our life, I'll tell you that.
There's not. I watch you guys on Facebook.
Well,
you guys always have fun stuff.
Thanks.
Well, let's dive right into, transportation.
Absolutely.
If you are planning your wedding, maybe this is a piece that you haven't thought of yet. So, Brian, what are some questions that engaged couples need to know to ask, or certain aspects that they need to be thinking about?
Thank you for asking. That is huge. Let me start off with that. To receive the quote that you're looking for, it's not really questions that they have to ask. It's information that you need to provide. Who is our booking contact? Who's getting married? It is so important for us to know who we're working with, just like it is for you, who you're working with.
Right.
What type of vehicle is ideal for you? Is it a forward-facing seat, where a shuttle type vehicle where everybody is facing forward? Is it a perimeter style vehicle, which is a traditional seating of a limo in the oval? That's an important factor. When is your date? We absolutely need to know availability. When is your date? Believe it or not, it's like pulling teeth to figure that out sometimes.
And let me tell you, if you are a fall wedding, specifically September or October, like a year in advance is when you need to be booking.
Absolutely. It used to think like it was May and October. Now, based on what's happened, everything in the industry for the last year and a half, every Saturday is for the whole year. I don't even know if there's a wedding season anymore. I think it's just the whole,
That's a great problem to have, though.
It is great. It is great. Where your pickup, drop off, and stops. We include 30 minutes travel to get to you to your pickup, and then 30 minutes travel after your drop off for us to get back to the garage. Okay. So your 4-hour booking, 6-hour, 8-hour is yours. You're on the vehicle during that time. But if you live, let's just say St. Genevieve, I don't know, is that an hour and a half away? Yeah. Your 4-hour booking just became 7 because of our extra travel time. Okay. These are important factors when providing you a quote. Why do you prefer that particular vehicle, the perimeter seating or the forward-facing seating? If you are not, for lack of words, if you are not married to that vehicle type, we might have other options. We've been in business 54 years. We have 77 vehicles, ranging from a 2-passenger sedan to a 56-passenger motor coach. The largest luxury transportation company in Missouri. We might have other options if you're flexible, and that might fit your budget better.
Yeah. And you always have great ideas.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
One of the other things I want to talk about too is, because you had mentioned St. Genevieve, some of these rides are going to be really long. Do you guys have restrooms?
We do. Okay. Our 50-passenger limo bus has a restroom on board, and our 18-passenger 38 to 56 mini coaches, motor coaches, they all have restrooms on board.
That's good.
So we have about 19 options of that. What else is important to us is how long is your booking, because that's going to determine your quote. How often are the pickups? So if we're doing shuttle, how often are those pickups? And definitely most important, how many passengers you have. Because I can't match you with the right vehicle if I don't know how many folks you're going to need to transport.
So who all, I know traditionally it used to be bride and groom would have their own limo.
Absolutely.
Then it became bride and groom plus wedding party. Sometimes I see families on board too. Like, what is it, or is it up to the client? How do you figure out who's riding?
It is absolutely up to them. In the last year, I've noticed it's really been evolving a lot. There's been less folks on the buses sometimes, and now it seems like there's more folks on the buses. You know, it comes down to the capacity is one of the things I was going to talk about, and that's where we are right now. More space is better. Dori, it's your big day. You're going to be in this beautiful dress. You do not want me and my vodka cranberry bumping shoulders with you.
I didn't even think about that. Oh my God, absolutely not. And spills can happen.
Absolutely,
but also,
they do.
Yeah, you don't want people right on top of you.
You almost, I hate to say it, but the bride almost needs to think of herself as 2 passengers, just like space-wise. This is my space. What they think? Yeah. Dirty Dancing? This is my space.
Right.
Anyway, so that's always important to figure that out. Is think about it. If you have 20 passengers, 20-passenger vehicle might not be ideal for you. You might want to look at 25 and 30. Consider all those options.
Okay, that's good to know.
When there is an ideal vehicle, there is nothing stopping us from booking it and putting down. Traditionally, a deposit is 50%, but you're a year away. You're a year and a half away.
Mm-hmm.
I have some that are 2 years away. Just put down a $25% deposit. It's about a couple $100, but like that box is checked. I know you don't know your hotel and you don't know all the other venues yet, but you have the perfect vehicle. You know you're going to have 20 or 25 passengers. Mm-hmm. Nothing stopped us from holding that vehicle.
And hold it, yeah, because once it's gone, it's gone.
That's correct.
So really, to recap, when you're reaching out to JED Transportation, make sure to give them all of the information that you can think of.
Absolutely.
It is so important to book your vehicle about a year out if you can, because if you know what you want, or if you get a chance to talk with Brian and he knows what you need most, go ahead and put down a deposit. It doesn't have to be the 50%. I know that you're willing to be flexible.
Absolutely.
Capacity, think about who's going to be riding, and make sure that if you are having 20 people, don't book a vehicle that's 20 people. Make sure it's 25 or 30. Right?
Extra space is definitely not frowned upon. It always works in everyone's favor.
Yeah, a little space. All right, tell me a little more.
Well, really, we were touching on flexibility and the traditional 4-hour minimum. Like maybe you don't have 4 hours that's after your ceremony to pictures to get you to the venue. Mm-hmm. You could have a different timeline. The 4-hour booking on Saturdays, we could actually get you to the venue. There's a way. It could be a 12 to 4 booking instead of a 2 to 6 booking. There's different ways to look at this, and that's why I love having a conversation instead of 12 emails or text messages.
Right. Talking person to person is always the best way.
This is the biggest day of your life. Let's get it right.
No kidding.
And a 2 to 5 minute conversation, we're done.
Right.
I honestly, what type of vehicle? When is your date? How long do you need it for? And how many passengers? We'll knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I love it. And you said Fridays or Sundays, you can be a little flexible on rates too.
Absolutely. That is a great time for those bachelor and bachelorette parties. We can customize a package for you. Because if you are, again, flexible, on the Friday or Sunday, you're not competing with all those weddings on Saturday, which we are going to dig in. We are going to get that 4-hour minimum. There's no moving on that on the Saturday. Fridays and Sundays, maybe.
A little flexibility. So let's talk about the bachelor and bachelorette parties. Brian and I have been kind of talking behind the scenes. We're thinking about putting a package together where your party actually starts here at the Allegro showroom with some drinks, some appetizers, some photo booth fun.
I think we should do a trial run.
Maybe karaoke. We should absolutely do a trial run. And then you hop on a JED bus and go off to Ameristar or one of the other casinos or wherever you want to go.
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea. We have on our jedlimousine.com website, there's some 12-passenger Mercedes limo sprinters. There's some smaller shuttles. These are great for those winery trips, which is becoming very common at bachelorette parties.
Yeah. Well, and then no one has to worry about having a DD or someone who says that they're fine and then they're driving anyway.
Absolutely. And again, on those Fridays and Sundays, it's a different rate and different minimum. So
yeah,
you can do that. Non-traditional locations is huge too. I'm finding that a lot of these venues or these bookings they're getting farther west. They're getting to farms, land, country. Must be something with protocols or whatever the reason is. Everyone's deciding that right now. The industry is in a very strange place right now. But there might be vehicle restrictions, and we definitely need to know about that dirt road, that gravel road. The heights, the widths, it's important. These are large vehicles. They're 10, 15 feet tall. They're 45, 50 feet long.
Yeah, and heavy.
Absolutely.
So some of those little country road bridges and whatnot.
100% every time. Yeah.
This is why you hop on the phone with Brian. He will help you. He will help inform you of the things that you don't even know that you don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add in?
I think we nailed it. I'm ready. Who, what, when, where, why? Let's do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Brian Klimaski with JED Transportation. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
So hop on over to jedtransportation.com.
JEDlimousine.com.
JEDlimousine.com. Here it is. And then if you are looking for live music, DJ services, photo booths, lighting, decor, or event planning, hop on over to allegrostl.com. And until next time, happy planning.
Talk to you soon.